Good evening and welcome. My name is Thomas Kutz, for those of you who do not know me, and I'm here in Washington, D.C. in the Capitol Hill area. And I'm here with Darren Miller, who's will be moderating and asking your questions. So the way this works, this is a town hall forum for you to have an opportunity to share your thoughts with me. And I'm a candidate for Grove City College Student Government Association, Executive Vice President of Student Affairs. So we'll get into that in just a second. But what I want to tell you guys now is you have an opportunity. If you have a Google account, you can sign into YouTube and chat with each other. Also, if you have any questions you'd like to shoot our way, feel free. We're monitoring our Gmail account. It's friends-to-elect-Thomas-Kutz@gmail.com. And that is your best way to submit questions. We'll get those here and get them up on the air, and I'll answer them right here on the spot. This is live. It is 8:04 plausibly p.m. So yes, this is live. I'm here with Darren Miller. As I said, Darren's a Grove City alum, so he's going to be asking some questions. Some that we have already gotten in our inbox today, as we put out a notice to try to get you guys to submit questions. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. So again, thanks for being with us. If you have any questions along the way, feel free to contact us. Darren.
All right. Well, just to start us off, Thomas, why don't you tell us, why are you running for SGA?
Well, thank you, Darren. So I'm running for student government because over the past 2 years, I've been blessed to have the privilege to serve this campus and the community that I love. When I first fell in love with Grove City College, I knew it was going to be a very special place to me. And I came here, I came to Grove City and ran for student government as a freshman because I want to make a difference. I was student council president in high school. We'd done some pretty neat things then, and we were able to do some pretty neat things too in my 2 years on student government. And it's really the public service that I enjoy. Being able to go up to a student and ask them what they would like to be done, what's on your mind, what you need to do, and being able to say, I will do my best to get it done. And that's something we've worked very hard to do on the Student Affairs Committee, to do what's best to serve us. And I love student affairs because people can give us a question and we will get back to them with an answer. This way we can serve the campus and make it a better place. And that's ultimately why I'm running, is to do anything we can to improve Grove City College.
Great. What are you most proud of from during your first 2 years in student government at Grove City?
Well, Darren, while I was on student government, both as freshman and sophomore senator of student affairs, I've represented my class, the class of 2017, for 2 years now. And some of the things I've done that I'm proud of in a collaborative effort with Bon Appetit and Student Life and Learning. I'd be remiss if I left out the credit for John Eric Dramadnik and Larry Hardesty, who really helped push this through. So I had an idea that, hey, students would love to get a breakfast before class, but they don't have time to go all the way down to Map to get it. So I had thought, hey, why don't we have breakfast in the Gedunk? So in our Breeding Student Union, in the small cafe called the Gedunk, I spoke with Bon Appetit and their staff there, and we went through the Gedunk and said, how can we do this effectively? And Darren, what we did was we brought a daily breakfast meal option during the week so that students before class could come and grab a bite to eat. So they have something a little bit extra to get through the day. Most students will just not eat breakfast. And the way to go really is to, get yourself something small, whether it's granola, whether it's a yogurt, whatever that may be. It's just really good to get something. I was really excited to do that. And bring breakfast to the Gedunk for the students. And the other thing, Darren, I would say, I sat down with the provost, Dr. Graham, and he is a wonderful man, very, very nice. And I said, well, sir, there are some students who they want to study in STEM longer than 10 o'clock. This was my freshman year. STEM closed at 10 most nights, and it was only open 4 nights a week. And I said, how can we go about doing this? And also I said, and the library is pretty crowded on weekends. I would love to have a place where students can go to study. And in this process of discussing facilities and how we could open, I also had some students come to me and say, Thomas, I play piano. I'm a musician, guitar. Some people, and they like to practice. Even some small worship groups have said we'd like to practice in Q Fine Arts Center, but the hours we can't deal with. So I went to the provost and Student Life and Learning, and we discussed a way that we could really make some meaningful changes, and that's what we did, Darren. And so we extended hours in STEM until 11. And the plan next year, we're going to revisit this, is hopefully to get it till 12. So it's on a similar schedule as the Hall of Arts and Letters. But this year, I was able to push through the funding to get it to 11. And why is funding important for an extra hour? Well, the extra hour the building's open means a student worker has to be paid. A campus security guard would have to be paid. And on top of that, you incur extra costs for electricity being used and whatnot. So I talked to the deans, Dean Birmingham, Dean Ayers, respectively, and they were on board, and I was very happy to get some Saturday hours for Hal. Now, Darren, one thing I'm going to do next year as Vice President of Student Affairs is revisit this, as I said, to extend STEM just a little bit. And we had Hal open on Saturdays on a trial basis this year. In the mornings, we're going to see between usage of that in the library, how we can best, most effectively get our most utilization as possible from this space. So, Darren, to sum it all up, I'd say getting breakfast in the dunk, very, very happy about that. And, just giving people a place to study and getting some key scanners in Q so that people, they don't need a student worker as much. They can go sign out a room and they can get in. So really, really happy we were able to get that done.
That's great. So I remember from my time at Grove City, and I'm sure this is the case now, students are sometimes skeptical about what student government can actually impact, whether it can actually change things on campus. What would you say to me, and what would you say to current students who are similarly skeptical?
Well, Darren, what I would say to you and all of you out there who may think that all this student government isn't really for much, we are the main communication link between the students and the administration. So as Senator of Student Affairs, I've had weekly meetings with the Dean of Students, Larry Hardesty, good friend of mine. We've sat down to discuss issues, and anytime I can bounce an idea off and say, hey, I've had students coming to me, they're concerned about this, and nobody cares more than he does. And really, we've been able to really kind of turn that around so that action, we've done things. Now, people may not realize that, but you look at Breakfast in the Gedunk, you look at the garden project that SGA's helped sponsor, things like that, that's just bringing the campus together, a fire pit down in the lower campus, these class gifts that we see. Student government has been able to do a lot. And you look at it, if it weren't for the efforts of the senior class president last year, Jeb Bush came and was our commencement speaker. And before that, we had Laura Bush. So there's some really, really neat opportunities student government is able to help bring about. And, I've been proud to be a part of it in service outreach and, and bringing improvement to the campus. And the biggest thing we are doing is we're a voice. Because of 2,500 of you and only a certain number of senior staff, having a student government representative is key. So weekly, I get emails from several students. I have my friends know I'm on student government. Tell me what I can do for you. And I take that and I tell the executive committee, which I hope to be on next year. And we try and see what is the best way that things can be done and how we can accomplish this.
So you addressed sort of why you want to be part of SGA. Why specifically student affairs? Are you running for that position, and what does that entail?
Well, Darren, I'm glad you asked that because student affairs is really a passion of mine. And I considered, some of the other committees, but my 2 years on student government on student affairs committee have been a blessing. I've worked with Elijah Coriel very closely, who's been my committee chair. I've been blessed to have his guidance on the committee. So through student affairs, we handle pretty much anything and everything on campus. So from operations to residence life, all of student life and learning, and bon appetit. And we also deal with the tech department as well. So pretty much everything is encompassed by student affairs. So for me, it's the way I can most impact students and I can most be a positive influence on their lives. And, student affairs is just kind of, I think of it like the Ways and Means Committee in the House of Representatives, which I've been blessed to learn about in my time here in Washington. Paul Ryan's not running for president because he wanted to stay on as chairman of Ways and Means. And I share that sentiment, is that I want to run for chairman of student affairs because it's the passion of mine. I get to meet with formerly Tom Gregg and now Jim Lopresti, director of operations, as well as Larry Hardesty. We got a lot of cool work, AT with the intramural department, and I'm taking over the intramural program next year as president of the IMO, the Independent Men's Organization. And I'm just really excited to do everything we can to make students' lives better. I mean, that's ultimately why we're there. Basically, to give the students a chance outside of academics, whatever they need outside of academics, I'm there for them. And I know just how important it is to have these connections, these things outside of the classroom. Because we can get all bogged down in our studies, and especially at Grove City, we know how much reading professors like to assign. Now, I love Dr. Bibza, but his class is reading intensive, which is why we like to maybe just find a way through student affairs to give someone a nice little break to remind them there's life outside of the classroom.
If you could pick two things you would hope to accomplish next year, what would they be?
Well, Darren, next year we're looking into meal plan reform. So this has been an ongoing process, talking with Mr. Hardesty in Student Life and Learning and John Eric Dramadnik, Director of Bon Appetit. And we've involved the Board of Trustees to this point, even speaking with our financial director, Mr. Toll, here on campus. And we're trying to find a way that, when I go and ask students, what is the biggest thing you want to change about Grove City? They say, meal plans. We have to pay for 21 meal plans. We have to pay for 21 meals a week for the whole semester. And those students say to me, Thomas, I don't eat breakfast. Sometimes I don't eat lunch. And sometimes I like to call Cafaros. I mean, let's face it, who doesn't like to call Cafaros? Although lately I've been a Little Caesars kind of guy. But I will represent you both equally, whether you like Cafaros or Little Caesars. I won't hold that against you. But Darren, with regard to meal plans, we've been looking at an option where you can purchase a certain number of meals. Or say you like to get a chicken tender quesadilla at the Gadon late at night, which, let's face it, who doesn't? You can go in there, and with your meal plan, you have a certain number of meals and a cash kicker, a crimson cash kicker. So in talking with Mr. Hardesty about this, and Bon Appetit, we had discussed multiple options. And the freshmen would come in with a 21 meal plan. And they would do that so that they could get acclimated and to establish a baseline for the funding. So costs don't go up for room and board. So we're actually going to slash costs for room and board because we're able to reform the meal system. Now we're hoping to implement this either next year or the year after that. But I am very confident. The discussions we've had have been very positive, and that's the first thing I would do. The second thing is something we've been talking about. So this year we organized a bus trip, student government did, to Pittsburgh, as both of our soccer teams brought their talent and poise to play for the President's Athletic Conference Championship. Now, as you may know, I was a proud front row leader in the Wolverine Den, and chanting, I believe that we will win. I think sometimes my voice still is recovering from that. But just seeing the atmosphere there, we had over 200 students there, and go down to Highmark Stadium in Pittsburgh, to support their soccer teams. And I was proud to support an SGA measure where we brought 2 buses down full of students. I organized a tailgate, and we all went down, and SGA even covered a lot of the costs that would have been put on students. And to see the atmosphere, and the players and the coaches, they came up to me afterwards and they said, "Thank you for doing this. It means so much to me. It means so much to our kids." And it really touched me at that point, Darren. I really thought about it, and I thought, we can make a difference like this. Students, they need an escape from academics. And one way Student Affairs can do that is through the Wolverine School Spirit Initiative, which I am pleased to announce we will be launching in the fall. As Vice President of Student Affairs, I will be able to have some discretion over the budget, in which case our Student Affairs budget will include substantially more for school spirit initiatives. So every year, student government gets an allotment from Student Life and Learning, and the Student Affairs Committee has their own budget with school spirit initiatives on it. Now, the school buses that we were able to get came from Student Affairs, and as a member of the committee, I was proud to support it. Now, as chairman of the committee, I want to do even more. I want to bring back attendance to football games. I want to help spark interest in basketball. I want to bring everyone just to the center of Grove City to support everyone.
We have a write-in question. If you had unlimited resources, so not the finite resources you're working with, but infinite resources and complete administration support, what is the one thing that you would do on campus?
Oh man, that's a tough one. So my first one would either be build a statue for Sherry, the omelet lady, for those of you who don't know. I know she's had some health troubles, so it'd be nice to build her a statue to keep J. Howard Pew company there in the Chapel by the Garden, the Garden by the Chapel, excuse me. Which would be a great idea. But with unlimited resources, I'd say let's finish STEM too. They still need millions of dollars for it, and I'd say let's bring it. Another thing would be a state-of-the-art athletic facility. And this is at the top of my list. We've been trying. I've been working with people in SGA to talk about a cross-country course off campus. Great idea coming from the cross-country team, and we've been working to facilitate that if we can. But I think it would be great with infinite resources if we could purchase from the order of the Oddfellows up the hill, the parking lots and the intramural fields, build a state-of-the-art athletic facility, and some more dorms up there, so that the PLC becomes purely recreational. You don't have to worry about whether the varsity teams are in the competition pool because you can use it. You don't have to worry about whether the IM courts are occupied because you can play on them whenever and wherever you want. And Darren, most colleges have this. Most colleges have an athletic facility and a recreational facility. So why can't Grove City have it? And Darren, I think what would be really good is to give students a place to expand campus upward, still keeping the small Christian atmosphere that we like, and keeping the size of the school small enough that it's a large community of believers that we can all still be friends and still all know each other. But a little bit bigger as far as facilities go. So we have plenty of space, and I think that would just be a really great addition to Grove City's campus.
In closing, what's the one message that you want those watching to take with them to tomorrow's voting? Well,
Darren, for me, this election comes down to one word, and that word is vision. And vision is about looking into the future. It's about looking into tomorrow, seeing what we can accomplish together. And I believe that my experience on SGA, 2 years as a senator and now running for the executive committee, make me the best candidate for the position. My passion for Grove City, my passion for student government, and my creativity and imagination, my ideas, my vision for the college ultimately is what I want to leave you with. And think about the vision that you're looking for. And if anything I've said tonight you like and you could support, I encourage you to come to the polls tomorrow. They're open until 4 p.m. in HAL and STEM atriums. And I encourage you to check my name, Thomas Kutz, for SGA Executive Vice President of Student Affairs. I believe that I possess the vision that we need to take this college where we want to go moving forward, not just for our years, but for generations to come. So that when our kids come to Grove City College, because we all know our kids are going to want to come to Grove City and carry on the legacy. I'm a first generation Grover, but I know some of you third and fourth generation Grovers out there know where I'm coming from. And I believe that if we want to leave a college that's great for our kids to go to, then what we need to do best is to vote for vision. And I believe that vote would be best cast for you. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Darren, for all of your help. I look forward to speaking with you all soon. I encourage you to check out my Facebook page, www.facebook.com/Kutz4SGA. Also, feel free to view some of my other campaign videos by clicking on our channel, Friends to Elect Thomas Kutz. Thanks for all of you who wrote in. We had several write-ins, so appreciate that. I look forward to your support tomorrow. Thank you. May God bless you, and may God bless America.